For several weeks, we are now receiving reports of so-called, as they describe it, unknown drones hovering over US air bases, some in the United States, some in the UK. So it's a very puzzling phenomenon. So I feel like I want to give this topic a little bit of time to do an investigation. Look at some of the footage that's out there. Look at some of the claims that are being made about the drones. Look at the responses that people have, what people are speculating this might be. And I want to do it in a level-headed way, okay? Because one problem that I see with anyone talking about this is that most of the time you just see YouTubers looking at the footage screaming like, oh my God, what is this thing? That's just crazy, you know? We don't want to do this here. I understand some of the footage might be difficult to explain. Some of it might be less difficult to explain, but I really want to give it a level-headed approach as we do on this channel. If you appreciate that, then please don't forget to smash the like button. And to be clear up front, this is not a debunking video. By the end of this video, I'm not going to say, that's what the drones are, okay? It is debunked, and I give you the debunk stamp. We're not doing this today. We're just going to investigate what's going on, look at the footage, because the truth is nobody really knows what's currently going on with these so-called drones. Are they drones? What is it? What's going on? However, towards the end of this video, we're going to do some speculation. We're going to talk about what this might be, what might be the purpose, the reason of this happening. So we will speculate. And obviously, feel free to share your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. If you have a theory, what this might be, what the reason might be for these drones hovering over the bases. Maybe you don't think they are drones, right? Loads of people are speculating that they are aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever it is. Leave your theory about what's going on down in the comment section below. I would greatly appreciate that. Now, this whole story started in the UK. I can remember hearing about it for the first time around mid last month, so like, I don't know, like 15th, 16th, 17th of November. Suddenly these reports were coming out where people were sharing videos online, on Twitter and so on, showing lights over air bases and proclaiming that they are witnessing drones or objects hovering over air bases for extended periods of time at night. And that went on for a few nights, right? It kept happening, and then at some point it was picked up by the news media and they started to talk about it, like in this piece from Fox News. Let's see what they had to say. And by the way, I'll link all these videos down in the description as well, so you can go check them out yourself.
The US Air Force says unidentified drones have been spotted over 4 joint US and UK military bases in England. The mysterious drones have repeatedly appeared for over a week now. Stephanie Bennett is live in London. So Stephanie, this is pretty disturbing. What do we know about these drones?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Julie. I mean, the details are still very limited at this time. We do know that the sightings started last week on November 20th, and they have really ranged in size, in style, and also the amount that we've been seeing over that last week or so. Now, a senior British official confirmed to Fox that the UK has deployed about 60 troops, including counter-drone specialists, to help determine who is behind this and to help defend the air bases amid fears it's a potential coordinated operation. They're describing the incidents as unusual and say this is a serious set of circumstances. Take a look at this map. The bases are spread across England and are all used by US Air Force.
So it is affecting the RAF Feltwell, the RAF Mildenhall, RAF Lakenheath, and RAF Fairford. Okay, these are 4 military bases, all American bases on English soil, and those were all reporting drone activity. And they said it started around the 20th. I seem to remember that I saw reports already before that on Twitter and so on, but I might be wrong. So that went on for a few days, and we were kind of helplessly standing aside watching these drones flying over these American air bases on English soil. And now we get the same phenomenon on American Air Force bases on American soil. Here's another report, also from Fox News. This one is just from the 3rd of December, so from yesterday, breaking down what's currently going on in New Jersey, for example. Let's take a look.
Tonight, the FBI looking for info about possible drone sightings in New Jersey.
And Fox's Sharon Crowley is in the newsroom with more on what people are seeing and why the FBI now getting involved in this one. Sharon.
Yeah, what we've been hearing is really incredible. It's not only the FBI, but New Jersey State Police and the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security are asking for your help. If you see drones in the skies above your house or your head, they want to know what's going on. The feds want the public to report that information because they've had a number of recent sightings of possible drones flying along the Raritan River. Now, take a look at this. Mike Walsh took this video last week in Chester, New Jersey. He says that he started to notice multiple drones in the sky.
Okay, that is a big difference to the previous video, right? Here they're actually showing some footage. So here is some footage that, who was the guy?
Take a look at this. Mike Walsh took this.
Mike Walsh, wait, is that not a right-wing commentator? I'm joking. Everyone calm down. It's Matt Walsh. I get it. But he shared this video, right? Mike Walsh. And I'm getting confused as well. That was the most prominent video. I've seen this popping up left and right on Twitter, showing these lights hovering around and over the base. There's another light here on the left-hand side. You see it there. and then one even further away. So it seems to be a bunch of drones, but this one on the left, you saw it, that was blinking. The ones here on the right-hand side seem to be on in a steady light. And here he is, Mike Walsh. Let's see what he has to say.
They're big. Like I saw a couple last night, which were very large, I checked like a flight tracker app and there's no planes in the area. You see these things go by and, they're big.
Great insight there from Mike Walsh. They're big. I mean, I saw them. They look big. So other people filmed it as well, right? So it's probably not CGI. Nobody made it up. There's loads of videos of people filming a very similar phenomenon. But then they mix in footage like this, and I've seen this left and right. And people have sent this to me, right? Because people know I look at unexplained aerial phenomenon and try to debunk them. And people have sent this footage to me amongst other footage, asking me, dude, it's off the charts, man. There are UFO sightings everywhere. I'm sure you can't explain this. Let's take a look.
Over the Picatinny Arsenal military base and Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey.
Wait a second. Let's take a look at this specific clip, right? Because it is actually available with the commentary, the original audio of the woman who recorded it. So let's take a look at this.
This one is extremely low. It's loud.
It's really cute.
And it's huge.
It's so big. It looks so much closer in person.
Yeah, my camera doesn't do it. It looks like a spaceship, right? Like that doesn't look like a drone, right? That looks like a spaceship. It's like a small plane. It really is like a small plane.
What? Oh God, help me. All right, let's take a look at this. So you can literally see that this object has a wing here, a wing there, some kind of fuselage in the middle. It's got two lights here illuminating that fuselage. Let's take this image and do some processing to it, okay? So obviously, it's recorded with a potato camera, as we know, most people do. But I mean, you can't blame them. This is the middle of the night shot, but bros, this is just a plane. This specific footage is just a plane. Look at this. This is an image of a plane at night, filmed from the ground, okay? You have a green light on the left-hand side of the wing, on the end of the left wing from our angle, and a red light on the right-hand side. You have lights that illuminate the fuselage. You can even see the engine here on the left-hand side. Here's another example, okay? Again, the light constellation. Check it out. The lights in the middle illuminating the front. And then even a light in the back, right? This one has a light in the back. So does this one. Also note the blinking in the original footage. Let's look at it again, this time without the audio. But bro, okay? So the problem is people are getting all kinds of sightings confused. Don't get me wrong. We have these sightings of small unarmed vehicles hovering over air bases. But what we see here is just a plane. This is not anything strange. I mean, if this would be what, like a drone or an alien vehicle, it's complying with FAA regulations in terms of its lighting and everything. Like, it's insane. It is insane that people would film this, put it online, claim that it's anything but an airplane, and then people actually swallow it up. This is an official tweet by Fox 5 that says the FBI is investigating a cluster of what looks to be drones and possible fixed-wing aircraft spotted flying in New Jersey skies. Here's a video of the mysterious flying object from Mentham Township. Bro, what? I mean, you don't even need to be a trained observer or something to tell that this is an airplane. So that's insane. So I think the first thing we have to realize is that in this whole craze of, oh my God, drones over air bases, people get all kinds of sightings mixed up. And you can even hear the audio of the plane, right? Let's give it another listen. Try to blend out the commentary of the lady. Listen just to what you hear in the air.
Like that doesn't look like a drone, right? That looks like a spaceship.
That's a plane, bro. It's a plane.
It's like a small plane.
Yes, it's not just like a small plane. It's a plane. It's a plane, all right? But let's park that for a second, okay? Because this is not the only clip. There were some other clips that Fox showed as well that clearly showed airplanes. Like this one, for example, right? This is another, I mean, it's the worst footage you can imagine, right? It is blurry. It's out of focus. It just shows. But look at the lighting, the red light, the white light, the blinking. It is clearly complying with FAA regulations. So I have to assume that footage like this also shows airplanes of some sort, which is not unusual when you're close to an airbase, okay? So, all right, but again, let's park this for a second, because obviously we have heard that the FBI got involved now, that in the UK the Ministry of Defense got involved now, that very, very big players in the game try to figure out what's going on here. So if it would just be a bunch of planes flying over airbases, this would be an absolute nothing story. I think a lot of these plane stories got mixed into it, and people misinterpret what they see in the sky because they're not trained observers. But there are also stories like this one, right? For example, from Germany. Update from USA AF on drones over England bases. Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Small unmanned aerial systems continue to be spotted in the vicinity of and over Royal Air Force Lakenheath, RAF Mildenhall, Feldwell and Fairford since November 20th. And again, this comes from the Ramstein Air Base in Germany, and it says to date installation leaders have determined that none of the incursions impacted base residents, facilities or assets. The Air Force is taking all appropriate measures to safeguard the aforementioned installations and their residents. The number of systems has fluctuated and they have ranged in size and configurations. Our units continue to monitor the airspace and are working with host nation authorities and mission partners to ensure the safety of base personnel, facility and assets. So people are taking this very serious. Here's another piece of footage that I would probably classify as an airplane as well. Maybe it's not like a commercial airplane, maybe something military or whatever, but you know, the way the wings are blinking, the layout of the three lights with the blinking. Again, complying with FAA regulations, this is another sighting that I would classify as a plane. But people are reporting them to be almost car-sized, right? This is one of the reports that we got. People saying, yeah, clearly drones, and I could tell that they're car-sized. Now, with these kinds of reports, we have to be careful because it is almost impossible to determine the size of something that hovers in the air, especially at night, because if something hovers a kilometer away from you, it's almost impossible to guess how big or small it is. That doesn't stop people from claiming that they are able to do it, obviously, but you just have to be cautious with things like this. And I want to focus on footage like the one that we see here. To be honest with you, it does not give us a lot of information, but you can see it's clearly something in the sky, right? It's objects flying around. You could just see this red light here lifting up slightly in the air, like going what seems to be like ascending slightly and then flying off to the side. Typical drone behavior, but what are those? What is this? Are they man-made? Are they potentially extraterrestrial? Apparently, rumors are now starting to circulate that one has been shot down. We got this report on Eastern Daily Press. And again, I don't know how serious this piece of newspaper is, but it says, claims drone shot down over RAF Mildenhall welcomed. I don't know, is this an AI headline? I have no idea. But I mean, it says here that Kaya Nicole wrote this article and she's a senior reporter. Is she an AI? But it basically states a witness report of Crystal Mason, who's 40, who lives at Back Row near RAF Mildenhall, and she told the East Anglian Daily Times that she believes she saw one drone being shot down Monday evening. That is her. Miss Mason, the stepdaughter of a US fighter pilot, says, I saw something that looked like it had been shot out of the sky. What I saw came down and then fizzled out. To me, it looked like a drone had been shot down. Responding to Mr. Mason's claim, Andy Neal, who represents the Mildenhall, Queensway and West Suffolk Council, says, it's great news. If a drone has been shot down, perhaps the serial numbers on parts recovered, it will lead to identification of ownership, right? So everyone is talking about drones. It's like, this is drones. The military talks about drones. The newspapers talk about drones. Fox News. Everyone is in agreement that these are drones. Obviously, the people disagree. Just reading some of the replies under, for example, this Fox News video that we watched earlier. Drones are the new word for UAP. They are asking for our help. Bunch of clowns. They think we're stupid. We don't have drone technology that can stay up for hours unless it's military. I have not read reports that said that these drones stay up for hours, but he is making a somewhat good point there, right? Because drones at some point need to recharge. They don't stay up in the air for very long. You would ideally, if you have night vision and so on, be able to follow them around, see where they go down, and then obviously arrest the culprits, like whoever did that. As far as we know, I mean, the military hasn't said anything, and I'm sure they would, right? If they would arrest someone who's flying those drones at night, they would proudly come forward and say, we found him, a person has been arrested, and so on. They would be proudly saying this because the truth is, this is somewhat of an embarrassment for the military. The fact that they haven't stopped this yet and they're kind of just standing by, not being able to do anything, quite frankly, raises a bunch of questions about the origins of these drones. Are they actually able to do anything? Because if those would be drones, you could shoot them down. We have anti-drone technology, and like they mentioned earlier in this report, we have like anti-drone teams that apparently have already been put on this, but also about their abilities to defend themselves against drones. And if these are drones, and we have all this tech to bring them down quite easily, why has that not happened? Are they really drones? Well, people don't think so. Drone equals UAP equals UFO. Okay, we're now calling all UFOs drones. Okay, this is the new UAP. And generally, I don't disagree, right? Because UFO, UAP, it means unexplained aerial phenomenon. It's a thing in the sky we can't explain. And that's exactly what it is. That's what we're looking at here, right? It is an unexplained aerial phenomenon. And they're all over the world, as we understand now. So let's speculate a little bit. Let's go into speculation and talk about what this might be, what might be behind all this. And I will exclude the option that they are aliens, okay? I'm sorry, it's a man-made phenomenon. It originates on Earth, in my personal opinion. Again, if you disagree, feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. But everything I've seen so far, I don't know if they are drones or UAVs, who knows what exactly they are. But let's get into a bit of speculation territory, what we're looking at here. And again, I would be curious to hear your thoughts on what you think this is or could be down in the comment section below. I think there is the obvious theory out there that these are military spy drones, right? That it's either Russia or China or something, who knows, another military force, another government positioning these drones over all these American military bases, because it has to be mentioned that all this kind of started just a day after the Ukraine started using US long-range missiles to hit targets in Russian territory. So some of the news stations, I've seen them making this connection, right? They're like, okay, now Ukraine has these US long-range missiles targeting Russian territory, and right after this, these drones appear over all these military bases. That's got to be it, right? It has to be some kind of Russian intervention or attempt of spying or undermining the security of military bases that are owned by the US. But the truth is, if this would be an effort of the Russian government to spy on US military bases, then they would use real UAVs, okay, like actual drones. They look much more like that. They fly extremely high, okay, so they're much harder to spot. They don't necessarily have lights on them that are easy to spot like we see it on these drones. They have high-tech cameras that can film during day and night, and they are unmanned, okay, so nobody's sitting inside. They're remote controlled, and that's how you gather information, right? That's how everyone gathers information. The United States does the same thing, presumably over Russia and China and so on, gathering information using these kinds of vehicles over their territory. Or we've seen other examples. Not that long ago, we got the Chinese spy balloon that was shot down, right? These balloons, they hover up in the stratosphere. They have some kind of satellite tech hanging underneath it, and that allows them to take incredible pictures of military bases and so on. But you wouldn't have like drones with lights on them hovering over bases that even all the residents around these bases can see, right? It makes absolutely no sense, even if they would be big drones. And we have big drones that are almost vehicle size, right? They're expensive, they are rare, they're not necessarily something that the wider public owns. But big drones exist, whether they are unmanned or manned, like in the picture we've just seen, or like in this one, these kind of agricultural drones. They are very big and they're expensive, but people can own them. But if this would be government interference, it makes no sense to have drones like this hover over these bases, putting lights on them so everyone can see them. And why only at night? Why, like, the whole thing makes no sense. And why do they comply with airplane regulations? And then, as I mentioned earlier, they need to recharge. These drones, I have no idea how long they can stay in the air. Probably not longer than 30 minutes, 40 minutes or something, which is already extremely long. And then they need to go down, right? And as you can imagine, US military bases, they have night vision cameras. They have like extremely sensitive cameras that can zoom in like crazy at night into these drones, stay on them. Even the lights would go off and then the drone flies off to recharge somewhere and lands somewhere close to the base or something. You could follow that with the camera and be like, that's where they landed, let's go there, arrest those guys. But apparently that's not happening. We're just standing by helpless. And we get all these reports from these military bases, and the military, they're like, we can't really do anything. We've tried to stop the drones, but there's nothing we can do. And that leads to a lot of people speculating that there's a lot they're not telling us, right? That they're holding back on a lot of information they have about these so-called drones. And that then leads to a lot of speculation around aliens, right? Where everyone's like, yeah, they're not telling us what it really is, because if it would be drones, we could shoot them down so easily. Hence, it must be aliens, right? But the military could counter that so easily just with like some simple footage, night vision footage of these drones where you can clearly see this is a quadcopter, some kind of drone with rotating blades, right? If we could see it, it's a terrestrial object. That would end all this narrative, but we get none of it. They're not releasing any footage, no night vision, no zoomed in high resolution footage, no heat signature film that actually shows us what it is. We're getting nothing except this footage from the wider public. And we've seen it, right? It's garbage. So that's where a lot of this speculation comes from. But if it is a Russian or Chinese or whatever other government spy operation, then it is the worst ever conducted, okay? Looking at it, to me, it feels more like a troll effort rather than spying. And I mean, I understand how wild that sounds, right? Because flying over these bases is in some areas at least, a federal offense. Taking photos of a restricted area like that can lead to jail time. This is not a joke. You're infiltrating military airspace. So I understand, and this is kind of the second theory that I have on this, how unlikely this is, but it could also be just a bunch of trolls, right? And I just want to put this out there, have this thought construct and develop it a little bit further, see where we get with it. Basically, it being a big prank. And it wouldn't be the first time that this happens. For example, there's this article, Historic British UFO Mystery was a prank played on US Air Force by the SAS. I'll link this article down in the description as well. You can read it for free. I think you get one free article on the Telegraph a day or something, so you can read it. And it basically talks about the Rendlesham Forest incident and how that was a prank played by the SAS on the US Air Force. And this is not the only time something like this happened. I used to have a very good friend who was fairly high up in the Royal Navy. And he told me this personally, they did this exercise with Navy SEALs at some point, right? And they wanted to troll them. So they knew where they were, and then they captured them. And it was like a 3 or 4 day exercise. And then they arrested them, and they kept them, basically locked up for 3 days. And the whole thing was just a troll. They were playing around and trolling each other. So it's not that this is unheard of within military circles, right? That one group of people within one military organization trolls another one. But still, it doesn't answer the question of this being a federal offense, this being almost like an arrestable offense that would get you in serious trouble infiltrating airspace like that. As I said, it's not a joke, right? So also, if it's hobbyists, right? If, let's say, it's just a bunch of people that get together and they hover these drones and they remote control them somewhere, I don't know, it's a coordinated effort by people who just want to troll. I mean, it would really need to be a coordinated effort, because you see it all around the world now, not just in the UK, over 4 military bases at the same time, also in the United States. I don't know, it raises all kinds of questions, because it's also more than one drone in each of these military bases. It really is a mystery. I don't know what's going on. My suspicion is that in the near future, we're probably going to shoot 1 or 2 of those things down, and then a story will come out explaining what it actually was and what was behind it. But until then, that's all I can come up with. I have no idea what this is, what the origin of this is. I personally don't think it is extraterrestrial. I mean, just yesterday or the day before, we had, was it UFO Invasion Day? Everyone was like anticipating. They're here now, they're coming to invade. Unfortunately, nothing happened. I was waiting patiently for the aliens to arrive. Or have they arrived? Are they now hovering over military bases? Are these alien spaceships? And that's why the military is so hesitant to give any additional information. But then again, why would they have big flashy lights on their aircraft, come billions of light years, and then only hover at night over these military bases? That also leaves loads of questions unanswered in my mind. So this is all I can say at the moment. We don't know what it is. I would love to know more. I think it's a fascinating story. There's a lot of meat to the bone here. And I want to explore this further. So once we get more information, I might do a follow-up video in the near future. But until then, it remains a mystery. And we don't know what it is. But that should not stop us from speculating. Okay, so again, please leave your thoughts on all this down in the comment section below. I'd be curious to hear it. Don't hold back. Just tell me exactly what you think this might be. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more. You can also join our Discord, where we continue to debate things like this, amongst many other stories. It's a great community. The link to that is in the description, and it's obviously free to join. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for watching. You can also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have a brand new gaming channel. I desperately need subscribers. The link to that is in the description as well. I would really, really appreciate a subscription to Monkey Games. Okay, that's what it's called. Link in the description. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Have a great day wherever you are. Take care of yourselves, and I'm out. Bye.